Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. How are we all doing this morning? Lots to talk about. Harry Maguire has been speaking about last season, the present and the future at Manchester United as he strikes back. Also links to Calvert-Lewin and a few other players. But we're going to start off with a story that we've been ahead of the curve on this channel. I mean, sometimes it's fortuitous how it falls. You're only as good as the information you get. We have been on this for 2.5 weeks in relation to Jurrien Timber. As I said, the player wants to come to the club. Manchester United want to sign him. And the negotiations with Ajax are what is elongating this deal. I saw what Adam said last night. I agree. I think there is going to be some delays around De Jong and Timber and Nunez and a few others, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But what is not been in question in relation to the information we've had is that Timber to Manchester United is very advanced and very, very likely. Now, fortuitously, again, last night I was on TalkSport doing a show on Manchester United. Many of you may have watched it. And I saw it just after 9 o'clock. We were having a guest on called Marcel van der Kraan, who writes for the Telegraph in the Netherlands and has been very good around Ten Hag and what's going on with Manchester United. So as soon as I saw that, I said, can I get a question into him, which I did live on air, and I asked him about Jurrien Timber, and this is what he said. We can give you the direct quotes up on the screen like this. He said, I think Timber has already made his mind up. He will join Ten Hag at Manchester United. He also said that he's absolutely convinced that Timber's joining Manchester United. Obviously, this is somebody that's very close to Dutch football, has probably spoken to the same people we have and more. He went on to say that, look, I've seen what Timber has said today. I've seen which was yesterday in his interview. If you remember correctly, on the afternoon show, we were talking about this. Timber, welcome to the Members Club, Richard Burke, by the way. Hope you're doing well, my man. But yes, Timber yesterday said that things like, Ajax are in the Champions League. That's a big pull. I basically said this is the place. There's no reason to leave this place. We're in the Champions League. I've got internationals to play, and then in middle of November, I'll think about what I want to do with my future. Marcel van der Kraan on the show last night with me on TalkSport said, I think that's just a political answer. I think he's already made his mind up to come to Manchester United. I'm convinced he's coming to Manchester United, and he will join Ten Hag at Manchester United. So look, I think maybe some people yesterday were getting a little worried because of what Timber had said. Remember that word respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That's what you need to look at. Look up respect, because I keep saying this. We've been saying this for the last month about Timber. Respect for Ajax from Manchester United and Timber and everybody involved. Ajax is a fantastic club. Nobody wants to treat it badly. And I think that is why Timber yesterday was being political, as Marcel said, but also being very respectful of the fact that this deal is not official. Manchester United and Ajax have not, and I can give you this as breaking, Manchester United and Ajax have not agreed on a fee. So Timber going yesterday, who's already made his mind up that he wants to come to Manchester United, sitting in an interview and going, yeah, I want to leave. That's so disrespectful to Ajax, who are working on a deal with Manchester United. So think of it like that. If Timber's being interviewed yesterday like he was, and he said, yeah, look, you know what, I've enjoyed my time at Ajax, but it's time to move on, and Ajax haven't agreed a fee with United yet, that's really disrespectful. So he's got to play the long game. He's got to say, look, I'm focused on the Netherlands for the internationals, and after that, when I'm on holiday, I'll make my mind up. The reality is, he's already made his mind up, and he will be joining Manchester United, as per Marcel van der Kraan, who said that to me on last night on TalkSport. Mark, do you think it's time that United actually get a deal or completed before the official transfer window opens, says Abdu. Madueke would be a perfect signing if Rashford departs from United this summer, says Cameron. And am I wrong for feeling impatient? Clubs all around us are doing deals, says Clay S. Well, look, I will come on to that. I think it's a very, very, very valid point from people coming in the chat, and I do want to talk about that anyway. But let me just close off the Timber story for those who are not aware. Obviously, you can see on the screen, I was actually repping United Stand last night on TalkSport, and he was on. It was a 3-hour show talking about the issues at Manchester United. Paul Hurst from The Times was on. Jonathan Northcroft was on, Clayton Blackmore was on, and obviously Marcel van der Kraan was on. And they were sort of asking him about what to expect with Ten Hag. And I was like, please can ask a question, please can ask. And I got in there and it was just straight about transfers. And he gave us a really good answer, effectively saying that he's convinced Timber will leave. He will join Ten Hag at Manchester United. But there were some other bits that he said that now that we've confirmed that area, which we've pretty much known for the last 2 weeks. And I understand that external people don't want to believe that we speak to people on the United stand. I mean, we've only been doing it for 7 years. You know, suffice to what haters want to think, I'm not doing this show from a basement. You know, we actually do get out there and contact and speak people and have people on the show. And, you know, that's why you get invited to do shows like last night. And then it gives you the opportunity to speak to people who are very close to what's going on in the Netherlands. And, you know, we've been fortunate around the contacts that we've built over the years, and that allows us sometimes to get really ahead of a Timber story, and that's what we've been doing for years on this show. I don't. If people don't want to watch it, that's fine. But you as a community know transfers, especially, is something that I've just always been passionate about since I was a kid, and I like to dig and deep, and I like, you know, sometimes I'll get it wrong, sometimes I'll get a good bit of information, but I like to analyse transfers and say that's bullshit. We're onto something here. That's not what's happening. This is what's happening. And I think we do that really well. And I think with Timber, we've been way ahead of the game with this. And remember, we do have the 3 stages of a transfer. Deal agreed with the player, which is what we've basically done with Timber. Deal done with the club when you agree a fee, and an official deal when the club announce it. Well, we're deal agreed with Timber. We're at the moment trying to sort out that fee with Ajax, and that's going to be the delays, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So, as you can see, it says, I think Timber has already made his mind up. He'll join Ten Hag. And then the next big statement from Marcel was, I'm absolutely convinced Timber will join Manchester United with Ten Hag this summer. So that's coming from the Netherlands. It's a good source. We can expect that. But he also went on to say some very interesting things about what Timber brings to this team. He's an essential piece of what Ten Hag wants to do. He's a ball-playing centre-back, and Marcel said there's no way he's going to play with 2 Harry Maguires. Well, whether he's going to play with 1 Harry Maguire is one thing, but I believe Timber comes into this team and plays from the start, because he is... There's almost a contradiction with Timber as well, and we did the video in the members section, if you've not seen it, comparing Timber to Torres, but... When I look at Ajax and when I analyse Ajax, I only look at the Champions League games, because the first thing you're going to get is, well, Eredivisie is crap. We need a deadline, says Sir Nigel Farage, and Hugh was right. Yeah, Hugh made some good points last night on TalkSport. Shajel, welcome to Members Club. Do we think we need to sell before we buy players once we've exceeded 120 million, says Michael Neal, or will we still spend in the knowledge that we're going to recoup? I think we will have to sell to buy, Michael. Once we go above the budget, we will have to sell to buy, and I think that's a great point. So if we spend 120 million and we want to spend more, I think we will have to sell. I don't think United will say, yeah, you can spend in advance. But Marcel went on to say that with Ajax, it's a bit like when Sir Alex revolutionised his centre-backs with Vidic and Ferdinand, and this is something that Ten Hag will do. He will want to bring Timber into that team, and he'll want to play him. Some people are talking about him as a right-back. I think that's massively unlikely. He's looking to revolutionise the spine of that team. You don't revolutionise the spine of the team by keeping Maguire and Varane and putting Timber at right-back. Timber's a centre-back. And I think some people go, well, he's 20 years of age. He's in the Dutch national squad and he's played Champions League football. Like, he would be playing Champions League football next year. None of our centre-backs will. So I think there's a bit of a disrespect to Timber. He is, without shadow of a doubt, a fantastic talent with absolutely everything in his game to play the modern style of football. And I believe he will be a player that we bring in. And let's not forget, this season is about growth. It is about a rebuild. And you know, people go, well, he's only 20, he might make a few mistakes. Where have you been for the last year? Like, we've made mistakes every bloody game for this whole season. We're not suddenly going to be title contenders. So I think it's the perfect time to bring a player like that in. Morning, Mark. Anything on the Mount rumour or just spin, says Jake. Funnily enough, the Mason Mount rumour does not feature in this morning's transfer roundup, apart from me featuring it now. I've never heard such crap in all my life, and I have got no intention of wasting your time talking about Mason Mount to Manchester United. It's bollocks. Of course Manchester United would like to sign Mason Mount, but we're not going to sign Mason Mount. So the latest on transfers at the moment, I've just given you it on Timber. I don't care what anybody says. We're well briefed. We've been ahead of the game on this. There's a lot of people who indirectly are quoting the information we've got this morning from that interview on TalkSport last night that I asked the question to Marcel about. But there's also information around the club, there's also information around the player, and there's also information around Ajax. And we're getting it. We've had a threesome on Timber. We've been very lucky because we've had 3 areas of information and it's always been positive. And that's why for a long time I've been saying I'm 80% sure we're going to sign him. I'd almost go 90%, but I almost want to be respectful to Ajax as well. If it was Dortmund and Sancho, I probably would be up at 95%. I'm only staying at 80% through respect. I think this deal is absolutely going to happen. But the big thing is, when is it going to happen? And I've got to say, this is where I've probably predicted wrong. I hope I'm going to be wrong on this. I felt United were going to do something big this week. Who's going on with the exits, says Anonymous. We'll talk about that in a minute. I thought there would be a big deal this week. I really did. And we had that previous chat about, do you think Manchester United need to do something before the official transfer window opens, which I think is a week on Friday. Is it the 9th or the 10th or something like that? I don't know that we are. I feel that this week at United, there's a lot of people on holiday. And I know that sounds stupid for a club like Manchester United, and even when you're on holiday, you're on your phone. So it's not like United aren't doing anything, but I just feel that United have sort of, as a club, said for the next week, everyone's having a bit of a break after the end of the season before we go again. And Manchester United is a big machine. It's marketing, it's communication, it's transfer negotiations, and I just think that maybe Manchester United are just taking a little bit of a breath before the transfer window opens. I'm not convinced we're going to do anything official before the transfer window opens. We may get a, as I said, deal agreed with the player. I believe we're there with Timber. Deal done with the club. We could do that. Official deals, I just don't. It doesn't feel like it's on the table. As Adam was talking about on the show last night, there feels like there's a transfer delay. Timber himself mentioned after the international break when he'll make his mind up, which is mid-June. I think he has made his mind up. We've just spoken about that. But I think this is a deal that's probably going to be announced after the international break. Nunez, I absolutely agree that we're in for him, but I also agree with what I've been told and the theory that they're going to speak to a lot of different people. If we're the only people in the race for Nunez, then maybe we can advance that deal quickly, but I don't think we are. So I think Nunez, international break as well. I think we're looking at the mid to end of June. And De Jong, I think, is looking at the mid to end of June at the moment. So that's disappointing, isn't it? I suppose it is disappointing. I think United would like to have got a deal done early. You get conflicts in information. I mean, Slow Sports News says, great show last night. Timber would be a good signing, but if Maguire or Varane are being picked to start, who would he permanently replace? Maguire, we're going to talk about Maguire's comments in a minute, Slow Sports News. That moment when you said Klopp and Pep couldn't do better than Rangnick with this squad and the reactions, the incredulous look in their faces, classic. You know what, though? I mean, if you go through my Twitter feed, you'll see all the clips I had on TalkSport last night. And I really did detect, and I have said this, and I stand by this. Like a lot of the people I meet are really nice people, but I've never met them before, so I only go off what I see them say on Sky or TalkSport or anything like that. So, and I'm not here to not be honest, and I do feel that Rangnick has a terrible reputation in the media. They really don't like him, and I detected it last night. And I basically said, and I'll stand by it, and I got called out for it. I said that I don't think if you gave the job to Klopp or Pep in December, they'd have done a better job than Rangnick. And I was like, oh, what? You want about Rangnick? So I went, yeah, but I'm a Man United fan. I know the state of that club. I know the state of the dressing room. They're not good players. They weren't going to change. So I stand by that. But in relation to what we were talking about before about delays, Paul Hurst was on that show last night, who writes for The Times, and he was speaking very positively about United's transfer and restructuring, and there's a lot of people talking like that at the moment, and I think Manchester United are very desperate to try and change things. And one of the things that Paul Hurst said that I liked is that Erik ten Hag will definitely get every bit of support that Manchester United can give him and that he wants, and whether that's staff, players, operations, structure. So United are desperate to show change within that football club. Therefore, when I hear things like delay and we won't overpay, I do start to think of mistakes of the past. And no value in the market and we don't get players in that the manager wants. But everything else is suggesting that the club will get Ten Hag what he wants. So, look, I agree the delays are frustrating. We've got so much to do this window. It would be nice to start doing things. And remember, we're all focused on signings. And if you want to sign 5 players, you need to start doing it right away, because the transfer window isn't necessarily the date to start doing business. Haaland's already a Man City player. Like, you can start doing things. And we're going to be on tour very soon. And then the season starts early. Very important that Ten Hag, who's going to try and revolutionise the way we play football, gets these new players in to be part of that journey at the start, which is going to be a hard journey. So I understand and agree with the frustration around the delays. But if you look at Timber and you look at De Jong and you look at Nunez, they are very difficult deals to do. Ajax don't want to sell Timber. De Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona, and there's a lot of clubs in for Nunez. So as much as we want to be quick, and I get that, there is part of me that goes, how do you be quick? We want United to be good at transfers, and if we get those 3 players in, is that not evidence that we are good at transfers? But getting them in at the start of June, you can see why we're not doing that. And also, in the case of Timber, which I can speak with total confidence on, because as I said, I'm getting information from 3 good areas, player, club, and the Dutch sources. How much quicker do you want to be? Like, the player wants to come, the deal is agreed with the player, we're now negotiating with a club that doesn't want to sell him, and he's on Dutch international duty. So, yes, it would be great to reveal the deal now, but the deals that are going to get done quickly are the deals that are easy to do. I mean, look at Haaland. Dortmund can't stop that deal. He has a release clause. So that's an easy, quick deal to do. The barrier is not there from the club. You agree the deal with the player. Oh, we've done a deal. Kessie is out of contract going to Barcelona. Christensen's out of contract with Chelsea. So quick deals are good. And I suppose if we were buying Eriksen, who's out of contract, or someone like that, then you could do it quick. I want United to be quick. I really do. And I do have concerns, because you look at, I think everybody's concerns comes from the past, doesn't it? But I can also see why the delays are happening. And sometimes you've got to be realistic. And I do feel that whilst I just think we're in for another week and a half of speculation, I really hope we get to a deal done, but I think we might be in for a week and a half of speculation. And look, I would love to say to you, Timber's done. I mean, basically, I really do believe it is. I believe what I've been told, and I believe what Marcel said last night, Marcel van der Kraan, the journalist, the Dutch journalist of The Telegraph. I believe that he's going to join Manchester United. I'm absolutely convinced as well that he will join. But I know it's not deal done because we haven't agreed a fee with Ajax yet. So you could, I mean, don't trust me. You know, you've got to make your own minds up in life. I'm not going to say believe me, but I'm absolutely convinced that he is going to join Manchester United and have been for 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm not going to lie and say that we've agreed a fee with Ajax, because we haven't yet. And that's what we have to do. But we will agree a fee with Ajax. Do you think De Jong might be keen to move back to Barcelona in a few years' time after we get him in this summer? There's a Fabregas sort of feeling in this deal, says Shajil. Sorry, I know we don't focus on exits, but when do these players' deals expire? Says Clay. So I'm going to answer both those questions. Thank you very much for the super chats. Please do smash a like on the video, by the way, and make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're getting so much good information this summer, and when we go live, you want to be part of the community when we're doing that. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. It's free to do, and tick your notifications. Michael says, our priorities will use up the budget, so need to get sales going to try and grab some low-hanging fruit like a fullback or an Eriksen, says Michael Neal. Well, in relation to sales, let's just talk about that, and then we'll go back to the comment of Shahil about Frenkie de Jong. So in relation to sales, again, I would like to get everybody out the club tomorrow or today. But again, it's difficult, isn't it? Look, Pogba's gone on basically their contracts expire on June the 30th. So Lingard can't sign for anyone until July the 1st. Pogba can't go anywhere till July the 1st. I mean, I don't want to talk about Pogba or Lingard. I've seen Lingard putting up more Instagram posts about pre-season training than I've ever seen him put up. I just want him out of the club. I want him out. It's not personal. I just want him gone. And I want Pogba gone as well. And again, it's not personal. I've got nothing problem with these players at all. It's just time to go. I even saw this morning that Pogba's going to do a documentary on Amazon announcing where he's going to go. Well, fair play to whoever wants to waste the time watching that, because I couldn't give a shit. I'd rather watch repeats of EastEnders, and I don't watch EastEnders. So I'm not bothered where Pogba goes at all. I just want a new start, and he can have a new start, and we all move on together. In relation to exits like Wan-Bissaka or Henderson or Brandon Williams and people like that, it's difficult, isn't it? Maybe some of them want to wait and come back to pre-season training and see if they can impress Ten Hag. I hope they don't. I think they need to all go. But, you know, it's not as simple as saying, get out of my club for 20 million. The move's got to be right for them. And we've had plenty of players who've run their contract down in the last few years. So, you know, it's a precarious situation that United need to manage well. Would you take Asensio at United, says German? I mean, he's a good player, but I don't know. I think it's very difficult. I don't watch a lot of La Liga anymore. You know, since Ronaldo and certainly left Real Madrid and then Messi left Barcelona, I've really not taken a lot of interest in La Liga. It's and it surprised me winning the Champions League. Fair play to them. So, you know, I don't think United are looking at Asensio, to be honest. David De Gea 5-year contract extension rumour, says Shane. I don't think it'll be a 5-year extension. I think that would cause a major meltdown. My understanding, and I'm a big fan of De Gea, but my understanding with De Gea was that we would, his contract's up in a couple of years. We were going to add another year onto it, which to me made a lot of sense. Timber will be world-class centre-back. There are lots of Dutch fans that want him to start with Virgil. They already want him over De Ligt, says Daniel Kirk. Thank you, Daniel. I think he has got, I agree, great potential. I think he's going to surprise a lot of United fans when he comes in. We've been deprived of a ball-playing centre-back for a long time. We think because Harry Maguire hits an uncontested long ball to the wing that he's bloody Beckenbauer. We think because Lindelof runs into space for 20 yards and then passes it 20 yards, you know, he's some sort of Lothar Matthäus. The reality is, when Timber plays for Manchester United, you will start to see what a ball-playing centre-back is. So I'm very excited, yeah. Zane's in the house. He says, this Ajax player is no better than Ben White and Gabriel. You better buy a striker quick as we're getting Gnabry and Jesus. Those two will have even more goals than Son and Kane, says Zane. Is that the Son and Kane that finished above you, Zane? I'm surprised you're over that only a couple of weeks later. You know, bottling 4th place to your biggest rival. And you're already positive. It's great to see. You know, I'm actually pleased for you, Zane. I'm really pleased that you're feeling better and positive and deluded as usual, because that would live with me for a bit longer than a couple of weeks. You know, blowing top 4 to Spurs. You know, but you know, I think Arsenal do have a very interesting summer transfer window ahead of them. I like Jesus. I mean, I wouldn't take him at United, but I think he might be an interesting profile of player for Arsenal. Anyway, back to Manchester United. Lots to get into. People, if you are a member, thank you. If you are a member for supporting the channel, you can do that by clicking the join button, of course. But what I was going to say is that we have got a situation in the members club where you can vote at the moment for the next exclusive members video that's coming up tomorrow. At the moment, the choice that is winning amongst you is Ajax's Ten Hag last season compared to Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, to see how they compare in relation to style of play. If you want to be a member, click the join button and get involved. Surely Maguire would love the feeling of winning a trophy by going to Ajax in a swap deal, says Paul United. Yeah, you know what, Paul, I know you're joking anyway, but swapping Maguire for Timber or swapping Martial for Nunez, I mean, look, I get it, but it's never going to happen, is it? Because Benfica can't pay Martial 250 grand a week like we do, and Ajax can't pay Maguire 200 grand a week like we do. So this is always the stumbling block when United want to remove a player from the club. When we buy a player, we give them stupid wages, and if they flop, we're in trouble. Would you take Asensio? He's been linked to us, says Mibsam. No. And sorry, not no. I don't think there's anything going on with that. I think it's just pure paper talk. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the Spursiest of them all? Seems it's Arsenal, says Michael Neal. Thanks for the super chat there. The next thing I want to talk to you about, just let's get through some of this. Let's put it up on the screen. This is from the Mirror. United and Arsenal are among clubs who have expressed an interest in Dominic Calvert-Lewin of Everton. Newcastle are hovering around as well, looking to test the resolve of Everton. I do not want Calvert-Lewin. La 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 la. I don't really want Richarlison. But we did a video yesterday morning talking about Ten Hag's backup plan. Thanks everyone who watched it, because I know not a lot of people. Well, I think a lot of people did watch it, but not everyone watched it, and I think a lot of people missed out because it was only a 10-minute video. It spoke about Ekitike, it spoke about Nkunku, and we did a little bit of a deep dive into Richarlison about halfway through that some of you actually emailed me about, so it must have been quite good. And there are aspects to Richarlison's game that I think Ten Hag would find desirable. Calvert-Lewin, a couple of years ago I thought Calvert-Lewin looked quite good. I don't understand why we'd be linked to Calvert-Lewin now. He's missed half the season with 3 big injuries. Well, not big injuries, but 3 different injuries. So he's missed half the season with 3 injuries. He's now 25. He would cost a lot of money. Obviously British tax as well. And he's another player that's heavily involved in off-field marketing activities. I get GQ magazine and he's in it quite a lot. So I'm sorry, all the best to Calvert-Lewin, and maybe he is a superstar of the future, but I will take that risk and avoid it, because Calvert-Lewin, to me, it's not his fault, got nothing against the lad, is exactly the same mistake we've been making for years. And if we are going in a new direction, why would you go and spend a lot of money on an English player who's overhyped, who's got a bit of an injury record, and is already involved in marketing activities at Everton? Imagine what his marketing profile would be at Manchester United if he's already getting in GQ magazine at Everton. Like, it's not the right signing for Manchester United. We don't need those sort of signings anymore. We need footballers who are focused on their football, who are not massively overhyped and overpriced. So I really hope that we're not looking at Calvert-Lewin, but there is this thing that United are looking at a Premier League striker. So, Mark, Perisic basically official, would have been a great signing 4 years ago. We really need to back Ten Hag. Yeah, I wouldn't want Perisic now, Daniel. I'm glad he's coming to the Premier League. I like Perisic, but there is that risk with Spurs that he's a bit old now. But when Mourinho wanted him, that's when we should have got him. Do you think we're one of the clubs in for Tielemans? Good player at a good price. He and Neves could be a good partnership if we can't get De Jong, says James. I mean, you know what? I think with Tielemans, you make a good point, James. I think with Tielemans, there is a bit of arrogance in our fan base about him, and I'm probably guilty of it as well. I'm like, I don't really want Tielemans. But he is infinitely better than McTominay and Fred. So, of course, I would take Tielemans if that's what Ten Hag decides to do. And I think so much of this summer for me is about what Erik Ten Hag wants to do. I keep saying this. Declan Rice is here. Ruben Neves and Calvin Phillips are here. And then Declan Rice is here. And then Frenkie de Jong's here. If we get Frenkie de Jong, I can't believe how good a player we're getting. Of course he could flop. Anybody can flop. We bought people like Varane. A lot of you probably be a bit too young for it, but Juan Sebastian Varane was an amazing player, and we brought him to Manchester United when we already had Scholes and Keane, and you were like, oh my god, our midfield's going to win everything, and we didn't. It doesn't always work. So I think that if we can get the Frenkie de Jong deal done, which I don't really have anything to add other than what I said yesterday, I think Barcelona are just becoming quite irritating, to be honest with you. They've basically spoken to us about buying Frenkie de Jong, and now they're trying to find a way to keep him. It's like being in a bar, isn't it? And you can see the girl or boy of your dreams winking at you, and you see they're with somebody else, and you think, I'm not getting involved in that because they're with somebody else. I can't be doing with the hassle. I'm just going to stay here, and I'll look for something that's more achievable and realistic. And then you look over again, and they're still winking at you, showing a bit of leg. He could be wearing shorts, and you go, right, okay. This is very obvious that they're interested. You go over to the bar and they go, well, I'm happily married. Well, what are you bloody flirting with me for? Why are you flirting with me? And I think that Barcelona have done that to United with De Jong. If we don't end up getting De Jong, I feel like Barcelona, we never would have been interested. We never would have approached. But they've gone, yeah, I'm interested. No, I really am interested. Bit of leg. And we've gone and shown our interest. And then they've suddenly gone, actually, we are happy with what we've got. And they're trying to find way. We're having counselling now. What do you mean you're having fucking counselling? A minute ago, you're flashing your legs at me. I think United may have been, led down the garden path, but not by De Jong. De Jong has not led us down the garden path. De Jong has made it very obvious that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona unless they want to sell him. The only reason this is happening is because Barcelona have shown us. Michael says, good show, Mark, but did you guys manage to run through the entire squad of Keep Sell? Saw only a few names on the YouTube live. No, we only did a few, Michael, because there was just so much to talk about. Zane's back in the house. He spent $1 billion. That's about... So have you, Zane, on your super chats over the years. He says, Mark, you spent $1 billion. The best player came last summer with Ronaldo. You got Varane, Sancho, and still finished behind us a long way. Put that in your pipe and smoke that, Mr. Goldbridge. Also, I've become a member of your channel. When do I become a mod? Oh, you're not a bloody member. I can tell you're not a member because it doesn't have a badge next to your name. But, no, look, Zane, I enjoy the banter. But... And you do highlight a very good point. A very good point being that we did buy well last summer, but we bought badly as well. I will mark this summer out of 10 in August. I marked Manchester United summer out of 10 as a 7 last year, and people went mad. How can it be a 7 when you bought Sancho, Varane and Ronaldo? And I said, it's a 7 for me because we didn't get a midfielder, and I think that's where it is problems for me. Right, let's have a look at some of Harry Maguire's comments. If anybody's not aware or not even interested, Hasher says, shouldn't we sign Belotti? No, I don't think so, Hasher. I think a formerly good player that's available for free now isn't worth the risk. Is anybody else queuing up to buy Belotti? Even Conte's not interested in Belotti, so I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't do that. No. Mark, check your tweets. Oh, we're back in that era again, aren't we? I think I need to ban this word. Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted out. Actually, let's put it up on the screen for you. This is what we can do. We're dynamic. We're dynamic on this channel, so I'm going to put it up on the screen. But effectively, it's coming in from Fabrizio Romano. I'm just going to whack it up on the screen for you now. I think I am anyway. Let's publish that, and then I'm going to put it on screen for you now so you can all see it for yourselves. So De Jong is still not convinced to leave Barcelona and he wants Champions League football. Manchester United will try to push again as Barcelona need to solve their financial issues. Look, I love Fabrizio. But that is not enough to take me away from what I was going to talk about. So anybody in the chat, you need to sit down, get a mirror and have a long, hard look at yourself, because I was just about to talk about Maguire's comments. That there is not enough. We've spoken about that. That's enough. That is, you know, we spoke about that yesterday. That's not an update. John Stewart, that's more like it. John's just gifted 5 United Stand memberships. John's the legend of the chat. Thank you, John. Make sure you say thank you to John, DVN, Ansh, Ethan, and well done. You've got memberships. Thank you to John. Oh, there's more on the treat. Keel Robinson, thank you very much for becoming a members club. Okay, I'm getting more. Manchester United have opened up. Oh, all right, this is better. It gets better now. Don't worry. We're doing this live on the hop here. We don't do pre-recorded content where everything's edited and perfect. So there's the next one here. Let's go. Manchester United have opened direct talks with Barcelona for Frenkie de Jong. His price tag is around 85 million and Barcelona are waiting for an opening bid. I mean, that's not an update either. I'm sorry. I still don't disagree. It's like I feel like Paul Hollywood or, you know, Great British Bake Off when people are putting stuff in front of me. It's still not good enough. I don't think that's an update. I don't think that's an update from yesterday. We know that Manchester United, I've just said that, we know that Manchester United are negotiating with Barcelona. They have been for 3 weeks. We know that De Jong's not convinced, but Barcelona won't bloody do a deal with us anyway. So I think that I don't see that as a major update. And ultimately, I also think you've got to be very careful about what PSG might do, because they're going to miss out on Tchouaméni to Real Madrid. So I stay 75% on De Jong because we haven't had the killer blow yet, but I'm certainly not convinced to go any higher. I feel like we're being played about by Barcelona, who are stalling around, and we know that PSG have got the funds to just go in and do whatever they bloody want with manager Mbappe. So yeah, I think we've got to be a bit careful about that. You know, there's so much stuff going on around Barcelona at the moment. they're trying to bring in. I mean, the thing is, Barcelona have got no money and they're more active than us. Like, Barcelona are actually in trouble, financial fair play. They want Kessie and Christensen and Lewandowski. They want Bernardo Silva. They've also been linked to Koundé and Koulibaly. Like, they are absolutely in for everybody. And it's it's interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to stop ignoring the chat, because I can't just go looking at every fucking tweet. We're 35 minutes into the show. I'm not going to start looking at this tweet, that tweet. How's about you start doing your own channel going through tweets? I can't look at every tweet, everybody. There is a structure to the show, and if I can't, I want to read chats in the chat. I don't want to read about tweet. There's a tweet. And actually, you should give yourself four. If I was doing a chat rating today in relation to people telling me to check tweets, I'd give you 3 out of 10, because I think the tweets that you're telling me about are crap. I don't think they are updates. I think they're really, really poor. So you need to do better. I don't think that De Jong update's very good at all. I think it's what we already know. Come back to me when you've got information like I got last night for Timber, and then we'll talk, because you've not done yourself any favours in the chat today if you've been shouting out check tweet, because you're miles off. I'm sorry. I love you all, but you've underperformed today. Right, let's move on to the next bit. I want to talk about what Harry Maguire said very quickly. I mean, some people might not be interested in this, to be honest with you, but Harry Maguire did say a few things in an interview with England. He said, we can look at individual performances, but I think every player at the club has not performed to a level. That's apart from Ronaldo. Maguire hates De Gea, doesn't he? You can tell. Why would you leave De Gea out there? I mean, mate, your season was crap. It would have been a lot worse if it wasn't for De Gea. So he doesn't name check De Gea, but I think we all know that Maguire's a big fan of Henderson. He also goes on to say the new manager will bring in a lot of positive energy. The lads will go with that. We all had a great positive vibes going into the season under Ollie. We actually started the season points really well. I mean, I don't know what Maguire's talking about there. The new manager will bring in a lot of positivity and energy, and the lads will go with that. But we had a great start last season. I think is Harry being actually a little bit like Rangnick there? Is he giving us a little bit more than what he's saying? Is he saying, well, basically Ten Hag will come in and the lads will try, but we had this at the start of last season and look what happened. I mean, that's how I read that. I'm like, on the face of it, he's saying, look, we've got a new manager. There's going to be a lot of energy and the lads will come back focused. But then he goes on to say, but we had that last year and look what happened in a sense. So, maybe he's saying that, some of these players can't be trusted. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. He then goes on to say that, this was quite interesting. Although there are a lot of critics out there, I'm actually still my biggest critic. The next biggest is probably my dad. I analyse everything I do. Every day I'm trying to improve. I mean, bloody hell. Imagine what Harry Maguire must say to himself in the mirror, or imagine what Harry Maguire's dad must say if he thinks him and his dad are his biggest critic. I mean, I don't know. I think I've been quite a big critic, and I think you lot have been even worse. So God knows what his dad says. I bet he doesn't go around there for Sunday dinner very often. You shit, Harry. Fuck off. I'm joking. I'm bringing a bit of humour to it. But, I mean, look, if Maguire's his biggest critic, then maybe he should be more representative of that publicly, because it doesn't come across that he's been a big critic. In fact, most of his interviews he's been criticised for blame shifting, hasn't he? We are nowhere near good enough throughout the season. We were conceding too many goals, not scoring enough goals, and it just spiralled. You could see towards the end of the season the confidence wasn't there and the belief in the group. I think that's why you shouldn't be captain anymore, Harry. You've just basically owned up to the fact that you shouldn't be captain, because that's your job. If you can see that we're playing badly and the confidence is gone and the belief in the group is gone, that's your job as a captain where you failed. And I think Maguire needs to focus on being a Man United player. And he's nailed it there. That's his big issue, is that you're the captain of Manchester United and you can see that the team isn't to the level that it needs to be. And I think that is something that is very obvious to me. If I'm reading that as Eric Ten Hag, and I'm sure he'll know anyway. If I'm Eric Ten Hag, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, look, you know what? He shouldn't be the captain of Manchester United. Not in a million years. So yeah, I think that interesting comments from Harry. Some of that honesty we needed last season. I think it's a shame that actually he comes out saying that he's his own biggest critic and this, that, and the other. And we didn't really get enough of that last season. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Welcome to the members club, by the way. John gifted 5, but Taran, Stu and Dean, welcome to the members club. Situation with Barcelona is simple, says Michael. They've got 730 million of new commercial deals they want to close. If they do, they won't need to sell De Jong. Man United is plan B. Exactly, Michael. You are absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on with that. And I firmly believe that you are absolutely spot on, because I've said it numerous times. Barcelona have flirted with us, and then they're trying to find another way out, and I find that you know a bit frustrating. We'll have to wait and see. Let me just have a quick look. People are talking about David Carmo. It's a blast from the past from Braga. David Carmo was impressed in helping Braga finish 4th in the Portuguese Primeiro after attracting interest from Manchester United have prioritised Timber as the defensive target, and have also held talks with Portuguese defender David Carmo. Understands that although Ajax centre-back is manager Ten Hag's preferred choice, after 2-round discussions with Braga centre-half, Carmo is believed to be considered a full-back option. Look, again, I'm going to give you a 4 out of 10 for that. I can only lead you to water. You've got to drink it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have to be Teacher Goldbridge this morning, but you've got to do better. Samuel Luckhurst telling us that David Carmo is a backup option ain't going to do anything for me. Samuel Luckhurst told us we're in for Calvin Phillips. We ain't getting Calvin Phillips. We're not getting Calvin Phillips. I think Luckhurst gets information from the club, but I can tell you that we're in talks with Akatié, or however you pronounce it. I don't think we're going to buy him. We'll be in talks with a lot of people. Jurrien Timber is the player that United want to sign. Jurrien Timber is the standout, firm favourite what we're going to get. We're not buying 2 centre-backs. I'm not wasting time talking about an article that actually says he's a backup option. So, you know, it's like that article the other day talking about Danjuma. Man United are interested in Danjuma, but it's highly unlikely Ten Hag is. Okay, what's that all about then? It doesn't make any sense. Look, if you want to believe we're signing David Carmo, buy the shirt, print it, enjoy your day. But I feel that as a community, our job is to analyse and dig deep and try and find the truth. I've not heard anything about Manchester United going for David Carmo. That doesn't mean we're not going to get him, but the article itself says he's a backup option. Well, I don't think we need a backup option because we're going for Timber. So that's not really an avenue I want to go down, to be honest. If you want to go down that avenue, that's fine. If that story said Man United have abandoned talks with Timber to go and get David Carmo, I'd go, bloody hell. But, you know, sometimes there's a headline and then the detail is hidden in the article, and the details in the article, backup option. This ain't it. And also, what about Torres? Has that article not said we're in for Torres as well? So, you know, you wander towards Carmo, but what about Torres? Timber's the number 1, Torres is a backup option, and now Carmo's a backup option. You know, I'd imagine Carmo's probably 4 or 5 on the list. And in many ways, I would applaud it because it shows that you've got Timber, Torres, maybe another, and then Carmo's there. So, you know, if you don't get option 1, you go for option 2. So you've got to have these. We were in remember we were in talks with Akanji as well back in March. So just because you're in talks with somebody doesn't mean you're going to buy anybody, does it? James, thank you very much for Jamie. Thank you very much for becoming a member. And hi, Mark. Do you think Maguire will ever be developed into a top 4 centre back? We'll find out, Jag. We will find out, of course. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. A challenging morning show as ever. You keep me on my toes as you always do. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy the Champions League semi-final tonight, this afternoon. We're 6 points off the top with 7 games to go. We're chasing down Liverpool, and we've got a Champions League semi-final against PSG. I'm not talking about real life, wake up. I'm talking about my FIFA career mode, which will be live on Twitch at about 3 today. Make sure you tune in. It was tense yesterday, very tense in the quarterfinal. But in reality, let's see what today brings. We'll be obviously live with you at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock and anything in between. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Have a great day. Big up the community. Make sure you subscribe and smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you all in a bit.